This is The Lost Adventure, and today we're going over N2, the Forest Oracle. Now, this was written back in 1984 by Carl Smith. He was involved a lot in early TSR stuff. I can't really find any other adventures written by him, but he was an editor for a lot of things. And this specific one has been described by other reviewers as probably one of the worst adventures for Dungeons & Dragons. So, once hearing about that, specifically from YeOldeGeeks, I'll put a link to his video down below, I obviously had to take a look at it. So, here's my look at the adventure. Designed for 6 to 8 characters at levels 2 to 4, the entire adventure revolves around this village called the Downs. It's a farming village. There's no real way to get the play. Your players just show up in this village. And this village has a problem because there's been like a severe drought, all their crops are dying, there's going to be no good harvest, and they think the solution to the problem is going to be this druid that lives on the other side of the mountains that's going to be able to heal their lands. It's an okay premise. I mean, I've seen worse somewhere, probably, not in a written adventure. I've seen worse in person. And it's just the way they go about doing it in this adventure that causes a little bit of frustration on my end. I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. This adventure, though it sort of looks like a forest adventure or a, sandbox adventure, it's not. I hope you guys are ready to get on the train because this is going to be a railroad the entire way with a couple stops that you can possibly swerve off to, but it's mainly just a linear path. Now, there are a bunch of grammatical errors and inconsistencies in the monster statistics that are placed in this book. We're not going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at the adventure itself. So the players end up in this village called the Downs, and it has this tavern called the Happy Farmer. Yep, the Happy Farmer Tavern. And in there is this really nice guy who's the tavern owner who gives you whatever you need, and it's all cooked really good according to the book. While your players are randomly there, there's going to be this random town meeting where the village wizard's going to talk, and he's going to pretty much try to guilt trip your party into saving this village. He'll say some stuff like, no families in this area can leave, but adventurers like you, pointing finger at the players, would be able to do it. Only you can stop force. Can save this village from its, drought. And this is just the beginning of an ongoing series of problems in this adventure. So here's the map. It looks like an open world, forest campaign. And you see these numbers beside each one of these locations. So that's not the number of the entry that you will read from in the module. That's actually the numerical order that you will run these adventures in. For example, point number 2/2A here is actually entry number 4 in the actual writing in the module. That's just a minor irritant of mine. However, the entries do have in parentheses underneath of the entry what number they correlate with on the map. So anyways, this wizard man, he tells the players that they need to use the Old West Road through the mountains to go find this druid that's going to be able to save the village. There's a chance they won't find the Old West Road. This is the only time that Encounter 2 is supposed to come in. You know what? I'm just going to go by the map entry number rather than the actual entry in the book. So Encounter 2 only happens if the players don't find the old wilderness trail, which is this one. The new wilderness trail, which is the one used by everybody, goes this way. Though exactly how they end up in the same location, whatever. I'm not the one that designed this adventure. So anyways, Encounter 2 is just a group of brigands and their camp. The actual entry for the monster stats is incorrect, and the entire writing that he has for the descriptors of this makes absolutely no sense. It's just say it's 5 brigands, or bandits, depending on whichever version of the game you're currently running. It's bandits. Just 5 of them. It's no big deal. There's their camp over here. And like I said, this is only if they follow the new wilderness trail. If the players actually end up finding the old wilderness trail like they're supposed to, I don't know why they wouldn't be able to find it. It's still a used footpath, but whatever. They'll eventually come upon this really quiet, like, lake, pond, whatever you want to describe it as. And there's a deer passed out inside of it. There's this cabin beside it with this dude passed out inside of it. And if the players wake him up, this, like, 16-year-old girl walks up to the party and thanks them for, like, saving her lover. And for doing so, she rewards them with, like, 100 gold pieces each, a potion of invisibility, and she will also give the players the cure to what's causing everybody to fall asleep around this lake, which she actually caused herself by placing a curse on the lake to make it so anybody that drank out of it, falls asleep until someone wakes them, which apparently she couldn't do by shaking her boyfriend awake. She's a nymph, too. She's not actually 16. Though that will be a reoccurring theme in this module, that the players will be approached by 16-year-old women who try to guilt trip the players into doing something for them. Yeah, if you guys don't wake up the boyfriend, she will try and guilt trip the party into undoing the mess she had done. Anyways, past this one, they'll reach this, like, 4-way crossroads. There'll be this inn there. There's an entire part where this innkeeper is a retired rogue who's turned good. It doesn't have much to do with the actual storyline. And if the players are there, pretty much a group of 4 wererats end up robbing them while they're sleeping. There's a sleep spell involved that nobody really knows how the sleep spell was cast because none of the wererats can cast magic. But anyways, it goes off. Eventually, no matter how hard the players try, one of them will fail, and then all their stuff will get stolen, and the players will have to go find it. Like I said, railroad. So, the players are not supposed to go north or south. They're supposed to be directed to continue going east, towards the mountains that they have to get through to find this druid that's going to save the downs that your players have absolutely no connection to for no reward. Oh, and the inn was encounter number 4 on the map, while the lake was encounter number 3. Encounter number 6 is the beginning of the cavern path that goes through these mountains. The first actual living person they're going to run into is a mad dwarf whose entire clan has been killed or enslaved by a group of orcs that are at the end. Apparently, the orcs are not going to get involved with the players until they randomly walk into the last cavern at the end, in which case they'll all be there, and there is about 20 of them, including the chieftain. So, some treasure can be found in some of these caverns, specifically one, where if the players decide to swim in this pond randomly, they'll end up getting the attraction of a couple giant eels, in which case, if the players go through the entire process of gutting them, they might be able to find a ring of fire protection, a wand of fireball with 1 charge left, and 200 gold pieces. Yep. If your players randomly decide to jump in this pond and gut the eels inside the pond, that's how the players will get treasure. Anyways, back to the orcs. So there's 20 of them, ish. You can fight them, and if you end up losing, you'll be subdued by the orcs instead of killed and used as slaves. There's an entire part where they take the players outside to use them as, like, I don't know, labor, and the players are supposed to try and escape. It's not that good. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I can't even pretend to be excited about this thing. So anyways, if the players defeat the orcs or they escape, they'll reach encounter number 7, which is a Dryad's Grove, which is currently being attacked by about 4 to 5 orcs. 4 orcs. If the players don't do anything, this 16-year-old looking woman walks up to them and tries to guilt trip them into saving her tree.
it's a dryad. It's not really a 16-year-old girl. Instead, it's a dryad. I don't get never mind. Should the players defeat the orcs and save the tree for the 16-year-old looking dryad, they will be gifted with a single potion of levitation where there's only one dose remaining in it. The Dryad will also inform them they are on the right path to go find the Druids. Encounter number 8 is a wild river. This is the only part of the river which apparently can be forded with this, 3-rope bridge. They actually have a picture in it, which is somewhat useful in trying to understand what's going on. Everything else is you can't cross any other way. The downstream will take you 9 to 11 miles down, which is not good. Your players will probably drown if that happens. And there's also warg footprints here. Oh, forgive me, I was incorrect. The players do not drown if they fall off this bridge. Instead, they're supposed to roll a d4 to determine what bad effect happens to them, which can include anything from a main weapon being lost, a secondary weapon being lost, a magical item being lost, or 200 gold pieces, or half the player's treasure. They will then take 1 to 2 hit points worth of damage should they fail another dexterity check, and end up on the eastern shore, where they're supposed to be. So, onwards with this part, we're still in encounter number 8 here. 2 to 4 wargs will then charge the party as soon as they reach the shore, and after defeating them, if the players decide to, thoroughly search the area, they'll be able to find an area that's littered with refuge and fur balls. And if the players decide to dig through the fur balls, they can find 2 bracelets that are worth 300 gold pieces and a diamond ring that's worth 900 gold pieces. I don't really see my players finding the lair of the wargs and then deciding to go through the fur balls, but hey, there's some treasure there. Encounter number 9 is the ruins of Castle Carn. So this is the location where an entire band of goblins has currently taken up residence. But they're not there for here right now. You'll have to go through this area to reach the Druids, though. In regards to what can be found inside here at this time, there's some giant rats the players may encounter, a little bit of treasure, and 2 women who have been taken prisoner that need to be saved by the players. Now, like I said, they have to go past this castle to get to the next area, which is Area 10. Area 10 is the Forest of the Oracle of the Druids, which is the place you're trying to get to. And once you find him, you see there's this rope that's going to come down from this giant tree, and these 5 guys that are all level 5 fighters are going to appear around the party to make sure nobody does anything bad to the Forest Oracle, and up they'll be brought to go see him. And as long as the players act all nice and everything else, the Druid will tell them, yeah, I can help you. But you need to get rid of these goblins for me before I give you anything. Oh, and you're going to have to do this all on yourself. None of my precious guards over here that are level 5 fighters are going to be able to leave because they're too busy guarding me right now. So back to the castle you go, where the players will have to deal with 20 goblins and their leader, which will be an easier fight than, say, the 20 orcs the players just dealt with. And your players aren't even going to have to deal with all 21 at once. It's they come in waves of 6 or 7. There's some wargs in here too, but bro, I can't stand this adventure. So back to the Druid they go after they defeat the goblins, and your reward is this potion that'll bring the lands back for those people that aren't giving you a reward either, that guilt-tripped you into this entire mess. So after you get this stuff, the Druid's like, hey, don't go back the way you came because the orcs and goblins are really pissed off and you don't want to go that way. And instead go down this southern route that'll loop you back around. Oh god, this is horrible writing. Anyways, so encounter number 11, when your players start leaving this temple, is a bugbear trap. There's 5 of them, I think. The roll for surprise, all this stuff. There's nothing really to it. It's just a bugbear trap.
Encounter 12 is where the players cross the Wild River. There's a chance they might get surprised by giant frogs. The next encounter number 13, is a Yeti. So when the players go to sleep, once they reach this location, if they're supposed to go to sleep when they're at camp, I guess you're supposed to include that in the planning. The time of day you reach encounter 13 is supposed to be night. So your players are camping, and then this Yeti comes out of nowhere and tries to kidnap one of your players. With all 3 hit die of him versus, 4 to 8 characters of levels 2 to 4. I mean, yeah, this is going to work out well. They even made a map for this thing, and the chances it's going to even survive trying to ambush the players and pulling off a full-on hug attack that successfully snags a player is very low. It's going to die here. The next encounter, which is 13A, is there's these creatures called Peritones, which is some weird combination of a deer and a bird. I've never heard of them before, but hey, so that's something interesting here. There's 4 of them. These deer bird people. Deer people. I'm going to call them beer people. Beer people. These are actually more dangerous than the Yeti that they made an entire map for. I don't. So anyways, the players will get past this, and then they'll reach encounter number 14. Actually, before they reach encounter number 14, they're going to run into this guy named Ronaldo. Ronaldo is going to be at this intersection of the road, and he's going to try and convince the players to go with him to his camp. And he's supposed to be really charismatic about it. And if the players don't go with him to his camp, a net's going to come out of nowhere along with multiple armed people, which there is no stats for. They did not give any stats for any of these people because apparently you're not supposed to fight them. Anyways, all the players get caught in this rope net, and Ronaldo tells them that it's for their own good and I don't mean any harm. And he takes them to a gypsy camp. That's right, a gypsy camp. Now, at this camp, they end up talking to this lady named Madame Riva, who tells them that she can cure all the problems that's happening at the village if they just do this one thing for her, because she was the one that actually cast the curse on the village for not helping them. Now, the players will obviously tell them, we have the cure, in which case Madame Riva will tell them, actually, I can save this year's harvest too. Oh my god, this is some of the worst adventure writing I've ever seen. I'm sorry, Carl Smith, if you're listening to this, I don't mean to be talking trash about it, but God, man, this is bad. So anyways, this Riva lady, she tells the players the way for her to help the village is for the players to go fight this ogre and save the Pegasus that's in there that the ogre kidnapped from the gypsies, who don't have any other whatever. So this ogre has the Pegasus that belongs to the gypsies. The players go there, there's a flesh golem, there's also a few traps inside here, there's a gas trap, a spear trap, a pit trap, there's a river trap, and then you finally get to fight the ogre. The flesh golem stands before you get to the actual lair, but he doesn't attack anybody except for the gypsy people. He doesn't attack the players at all. He's just specifically, really, really does not like the traveling people. So Olot's only a 4 hit die plus 1 ogre. I mean, the beer people there's more danger in fighting the beer people than this ogre. They'll save this Pegasus, whose name's Silverwing, that they won't be able to ride because only the traveling people can ride on Silverwing. Bring him back to the gypsy camp, and the gypsy will cast its special magic to make it so that everything is fine. Jesus, mother of God. They'll be given a medallion as a reward for doing all this that tells all the other traveling people that they're friends of the traveling people. There's no other reward. And then the players make it back to the Downs, where they're supposed to just accept the happiness for helping this blighted, suffering land. I mean, they also get like 100 gold pieces each. And they can stay there as long as they want to for free. I mean, I guess that's something. Oh my god, this was probably one of the crappiest adventures I have ever read. I mean, I've seen better adventures written on one page. For rating, yeah, this is getting a 1. This adventure rating is a 1. For value, I mean, I guess I'll give it a 2, because you can buy print on demand from DM's Guild, and I guess just having it in your bookshelf would look nice. So, yeah, we'll give it a 2 for that one. And for deadliness, I'm also going to give it a 2. I mean, there's some encounters that could go bad, like the Orcs and the goblins if done poorly. But I don't... This is not good. This is not a good adventure. I don't even know how to make it good. There's no way. I mean, without ripping this entire thing apart, could I make this adventure good? And we're just talking about the adventure. If you check out YeOldeGeeks' review, he points out that the grammar, the writing, and the stats are also done very poorly. So I'll give this a do not recommend addendum on here. Don't buy this adventure. I mean, unless you want to take enough space just for a completion of an entire series, don't get it. God forbid, don't ever buy this thing off of eBay. It's not worth $10. So I hope this helps somebody out there. Maybe a little bit of pain, because this one's not good at all. Don't get it. Do not recommend in no way, no shape or form. Don't get it. Like I said, I hope this helps somebody out there, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.